When Naruto and Sasuke both received their respective nerfs, many people were quite upset. I mean, how could you not be? Losing Kurama and the Rinnegan in a span of minutes sucks. Now, being fans of Naruto, we've seen him grow up and the bond with him and Kurama develop over the years, and from being someone who killed his entire family to being someone who now protects Naruto's family, he's really come a long way. And in a way, it is sort of like him repaying his debt to Naruto after all these years. Now, on the other hand, you have Sasuke, who overcame a lot of adversity, such as having his whole clan wiped out at a very young age and having to go through a lot of emotional turmoil. Next to Naruto, he has one of the most tragic stories in the show. And at the end of Naruto, him being able to awaken the Rinnegan, use that power to protect the Leaf, now we get to see him in a different light, actually being able to protect the Leaf Village in Boruto, which is kind of a testament to how much he's grown over time. Now, seeing both of these characters losing something that they had to work towards their whole life to achieve, just to get lost in a matter of seconds, is really disappointing to the fan base. Now, one major thing to realize is that these two are still some of the strongest people on the planet, and this is just really a small dent in their armor, and these nerfs aren't actually that bad. Now, I don't think a lot of people understand the nerf and oftentimes kind of underestimate just how strong they still are. Listen, Naruto and Sasuke didn't go through all those years of training and hard work to just become weak. There's still quite a few things in both of their arsenal that puts them leagues ahead of the rest of the cast. I mean, even things like Naruto still having Stage of 6 Pass mode, which actually got shown in a recent episode, Boruto episode 215, so that completely shuts down the argument that Naruto doesn't have Stage of 6 Pass anymore, but an insanely powerful technique that amps up Naruto quite a bit. And even though Naruto lost Kurama, he still has a humongous chakra reserve because it's an Uzumaki. The Uzumaki in general just have large chakra reserves. I mean, look at Naruto's mom, large chakra reserves, the first Hokage's wife, the list goes on and on. You know, even the likes of Nagato. You know, that in addition to his large arsenal of jutsu, the Rasengan, the giant Rasengan, and the super giant Rasengan. But listen, all jokes aside, Naruto does have more than a Rasengan. He's actually capable of using all 5 chakra natures, so I don't really see him having too many problems in the future regarding his ability to fight. Really, the only issue here with Naruto is he just can't go around getting stabbed in the stomach and smiling anymore, right? Because Kurama isn't there, he has to be more careful of how he approaches fights, because one grave mistake could cost him his life. Now, if you remember the Delta fight, Naruto literally got stabbed in the middle of his stomach, and 2 seconds later he was fine. So things like that can't necessarily happen anymore, and he's gonna have to actually not fight so recklessly. Meanwhile, Sasuke still has a Sharingan, and since he didn't lose a large source of chakra like Naruto, he's actually able to perform just fine. Now, sort of think of Sasuke as how he was before he actually received the Rinnegan in the war. That would kind of be where we're at with Sasuke, but just, you know, an older Sasuke and a lot stronger. Now, still being able to use the Susanoo, Amaterasu, Chidori, and a ton of other techniques, Sasuke is literally no one to slouch on. Now, honestly, with Sasuke losing the Rinnegan, this might actually be a good thing. I'm actually on the side that Sasuke losing his Rinnegan was a good thing because he might actually have more chakra from now on. Now, the main reason he was out of chakra in the first place wasn't because he was weak. It was because every time he was fighting in Otsutsuki, he had always traveled with his Rinnegan beforehand. Think about it. During the Isshiki Fight, he transported all those people. Even during the likes of the Isshiki Fight, and like he was traveling and trying to track Isshiki. Jigen Fight, he was traveling in those other dimensions, looking for the Ten Tails, and finally showing up with Naruto. And even with Isshiki, he actually used the Rinnegan one time to transport him and Naruto to follow Boruto when Boruto had sent Isshiki to that other dimension. So you can just kind of see how every time he fights in Otsutsuki, he's always using his Rinnegan beforehand. And hey, let's not act like Sasuke was even using his Rinnegan anyway, right? I mean, we didn't really get to see a lot of these abilities on screen before this happened. I'm pretty sure he's maybe used those abilities in a novel, but I'm not quite sure. Even with the Rinnegan loss, I'm sure he has the Leaf Village's best insurance to cover that. He doesn't really need that eye in the first place. He has a Sharingan, which is actually still quite powerful. Now, since we kind of have the groundwork laid out, let's talk about the current state of Boruto, right? So with Isshiki being the strongest character we've ever seen so far, it makes sense that Naruto and Sasuke took him on. This is going to be the real like last fight with them going all out, as they won't be able to perform the same amazing things after. Other villains like Momoshiki, who only Naruto and Sasuke could defeat, were defeated quite easily. Naruto and Sasuke both exist in the show as a way to give us a good scale for how strong the enemies in Boruto are. Momoshiki and Isshiki were up there in strength, but this is actually what the real issue is. So because the power of enemies seemed like it was going to be increasing at some point, it would once again turn into like the Naruto and Sasuke show, right? As many fans, including myself, would love to see Naruto and Sasuke duke it out in high definition 1080p. The show is called Boruto, so at some point, man, we gotta give Boruto some major moments as well. Now he's included in some of these fights with the Osusuki, but he's kind of on the sidelines and he's assisting. But and there's going to be a time and point to where Boruto will have to fight strong enemies by himself that maybe are even on this scale. So imagine if Naruto and Sasuke didn't get nerfed and every time there was an issue, they just defeated the enemy with ease. That would be hype, right? Like I said before. But we gotta accept that at the end of the day, this is Boruto's story. This is his show. But at least they didn't kill the two off yet. These two being around with their crazy strength would not really have allowed too much tension to be built for Boruto and the others. There's going to be a whole bunch of new villains introduced into the show, and they're going to need Boruto and the rest of the new generation to sort of step up to the plate. Now with Naruto and Sasuke nerfed, we can finally see Boruto's true potential and have him highlighted as one of the strongest shinobi to ever come up. Now Boruto has some good moments in the show, such as Boruto vs. Ao and Boruto vs. Deepa, but I have to admit that he oftentimes gets outshined by his father and his teacher. Now referencing what I talked about before, it is extremely hard to make a sequel to Naruto without him being the main character and everyone wondering why Naruto isn't beating everyone up. It's quite hard being the son of the strongest ninja in the world and expect to have some amazing moments shown. That's like if Michael Jordan's son went to the NBA and we just expected so much out of him, right?
Y'all are trash. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Y'all are trash.
Now, moving on towards the Boruto time skip, they're already building up Boruto and Kawaki's character and we can already see the transition to those two being the main focus of the show. Now, this was really a good move on them because the OGs can sort of take a seat back and now watch their students prove their worth. Now, I will say that they did a good job doing a transition for who was going to be involved in the next major fight. While Naruto and Sasuke are nerfed, I think this allows them to let Boruto and Kawaki have more involvement in the future. Now, once again, laying up more groundwork for the time skip, giving us a glimpse to how that may look soon. And just to reiterate a little, yes, they got nerfed. But no, they are not weak. I see this as sort of the best of both worlds, and it was probably the only way the writers could compromise with keeping Naruto and Sasuke around for a while longer. Now, do I think these two are going to gain their respective powers back? Probably not, to be honest with you. I feel like they made it quite clear that Kurama's gone and Sasuke's Rinnegan is gone as well. But real question, did his eye fall out, or is it still in there? What even happens when your eye gets stabbed? Does it just go black or what? I'm assuming it would just go black, but it's not like it fell out. But this is anime, so I'm sure it just won't be in there still. But I guess that was just a general question for anyone watching. I have to also talk about the possibility of these two dying in the future. Perhaps these two do die in the future, but man, that would be a bold move for them to do. It's very possible, and we were almost in a situation where Naruto almost died during the Isshiki Fight. To kill off either one of these two would have people going crazy, and I fear for Kishimoto from the backlash he would get. Now, I think having Sasuke around to teach Boruto is going to be a vital point in his development, and even having Naruto around for Kawaki is important too. Kawaki being obsessed with Naruto is actually a vital part of his character, and they've sort of been driving this point home many times, and they're kind of showing it more in the manga more so. But even the earliest being Kawaki taking that shot from Delta protecting Himawari and Naruto. So we can kind of even see glimpses there to just how much he's obsessed with Naruto and how much he sees Naruto as like a savior, right? But it's clear that Naruto and Sasuke still have some major and minor roles to play in Boruto's story, and I don't think this is the last that we've seen of them. Now a question for you guys. Do you guys think that Naruto and Sasuke's nerfs were that bad, or they'll still function quite fine? I might make a video explaining each of these individual characters' abilities and whatnot, and how strong they are in Boruto after the nerfs. So possibly look out for that if I do that. And also, can you see them dying in their next major fight, or do you not see this happening at all? Kind of curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.